بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واذكرن ما يتلى في بيوتكن من آيات الله والحكمة إن الله كان لطيفا خبيرا إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشئين والخاشئات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Abdul Wari. Now I request our Director, Anwarul Group of Institutions, Mr. Ahmed Beg sir, to say a few words.
Department of Computer Science Engineering, Mr. Ubaid, Head Department of Computer Science, other faculty members and participants, a very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the Department of Computer Science Engineering, Anwarul College, for arranging this morning webinar on a very important programming language, Kotlin. And also, I take pleasure in extending my warm welcome and thanks to today's resource person, Mr. Mohatesham Pasha Quadri Sahab, who has spared his time to educate us all about this important topic. In medicine, they say that if a doctor doesn't attend regular seminars, then he is outdated. He is not a perfect doctor. Similarly, in computer science field, unless a person constantly updates about the new developments, then he also becomes obsolete and outdated. The future is for the students of computer science only if they master and excel in the latest technologies and programming languages like Python, Kotlin, etc. Now, because of pandemic, as there are no physical classes, it's better that the faculty as well as the students utilize their time in learning and deep learning, especially the computer languages and computer programming. I once again thank all the participants and the resource person and congratulate the Department of Computer Science for organizing this very useful webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Israr Ahmed sir, HOD Computer Science Engineering, to say a few words.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Respected Director Ahmed Beg Sahab, Uloom Group of Institutions, dear participants, my dear colleagues, and dear students, and today's resource person, Mohatesham Pasha Quadri, Assistant Professor, Maulana Azad, National Urdu University. I, Asrar Ahmed, Head of Department CS&E, welcome you for this webinar. About this Kotlin, This is a new programming language. This webinar will give basic concepts of this Kotlin programming language, and this is very useful nowadays for developing the web application as well as mobile applications. So this seminar will be very useful for the third year students as well as second year students as they are going to do the projects in the next coming year. So I would like to thanks to the management. They have given me opportunity to serve this head of department as the head of department, and also I want to thanks to our what is called as Mohatesham Pasha Quadri. They have given very valuable time for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to welcome our today's resource person, Mr. Mohatesham Pasha Quadri, for webinar on Kotlin. Let me give some brief introduction about sir before he starts. He is currently working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer and Information Technology, Maulana Azad National University. He has published papers in highly ranked national and international conferences and journals. He has also published a book of chapter. Now, before we start, let me explain how we can talk during the webinar. During webinar, all participants will be on mute. If you have any questions or query, just write them in the chat. At the end, we will have a 10 minutes Q&A session. Now, we will be sending you all a relevant link of Google form, which you have to fill to avail your certificate. Now, I request Mohatesham Pasha Quadri sir to please start the webinar.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, madam, for giving this beautiful introduction about me. Respected Nawab Mujahid Alam Khan, sir, Joint Secretary and Uloom Education Society Association. Respected Professor Ahmed Beg, sir, Director and Uloom Group of Institution. Principal, sir, and my dear colleague and my friend Mr. Ahmed, sir, for giving this opportunity to present a webinar on the programming language called Kotlin. So I will start with my PPT. Let me give some time. I will share the screen. So I hope my voice is clear and screen is also visible. Isn't it?
Yes, sir, your voice is clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. As you heard about, the Android programming language, and whenever you heard about the Android programming language, you must aware of the Java programming language. So by keeping in view Java programming language, there is a company called Dept who has developed. Actually, during the session, I am also getting some requests, so I need to accept. So by keeping, the programming language, the famous object-oriented programming language that is Java, JetBrains has developed a programming language called Kotlin. Okay, the main purpose of the Kotlin is to develop the Android-based applications. And the specialty of the Kotlin is, it is the 100% Java compatibility. The 100% Java compatibility. So by keeping all those things, so as you can observe here, prerequisite will be, the Java programming language. So you must know the basic concept, at least the basic concept of the object-oriented programming language. Okay, even though you don't know the Java, so it will be little bit difficult to understand. But if you put your concentration while this presentation, so you can get the things easily. If you have the idea about the Java, so that will make easy to me to get this. Fine. This kind of sir. Can I stop this, request so that I can put more efforts on the presentation. Instantly, I am getting the request. Now the contents as follows here. Generally, basically, the Kotlin is not the a very small or compact. Rather, it is having the so many frameworks, supportive frameworks like Spring Boot. Recently, in 2020, Spring Boot is announced that it is going to support the Kotlin programming language. His or her.
I request others to please keep yourselves on mute.
So these are the contents that we are going to discuss in this webinar. The introduction part, the Kotlin fundamentals, and we will going to practice the programs on Kotlin with the help of some kind of IDE, that is integrated development environment. So JetBrains officially launched the IDE called the IntelliJ. So we can also use the NetBeans, Eclipse, Android Studio. But here in this webinar, I have used the IntelliJ. The basic purpose of the JetBrains is to promote his IDE called IntelliJ. To view more production on the IntelliJ, he has developed a language which is based on the cross platform. Okay, that is multi-platform. It is going to support the Java 100%. It is going to support the Swift. Okay, it is going to support the C#. So many more. So you can do all the object-oriented programming with the help of the respective libraries. Like suppose if I want to do the Java, as I said, it is a Java compatible. So if I want to do the Java program or the Java functions or Java classes, so I am not supposed to install the separate library. With the existing of the JDK, we can run all the the methods and the classes that we are going to see in practically in our next slides. So that is the beauty of the Kotlin, which is compatible with the Java programming language. In 2018 to 2019, there are a lot of huge in the industry, people are migrating from the Java to the Kotlin on Android applications. There are so many applications. There are so many the existing application who are using the Kotlin programming language for their mobile application. So here, since the release of Android Studio 3.1 nearly in 2017, Kotlin has been included as an alternative to the standard Java library or the standard Java compiler. So when I say the Java compiler, that means the JVM term comes. Okay, the JVM term comes. So as you know what is JVM, you should know the basic concept here before moving to the Kotlin. Like what is JVM? JVM is a Java virtual machine which is acting as a interpreter. Okay, acting as an interpreter which always searches for the .class file, which always searches for the bytecode. Okay, which always searches for the bytecode and is going to execute your program on. It will print the output on the screen. Fine. So we are going to develop the Kotlin based on the JVM. Based on the JVM. So we have so many types of application we can create with the help of Kotlin. We are going to see in the next slide. So all those things comes under the fundamentals. And we will see the tool that we are going to use called IntelliJ. We will see how to install and what are the steps. I will show you because it is the open source. You can download free of cost from the internet. And we will do the programs and we will see the variables, how the variables declaration and how the variable assignments and the functions, because this is the functional programming language. The functions makes the the major key point in the programming language. Also, we will see the control flow. There are a lot of graphical changes when compared to the Java, and also we will see the classes and objects. Fine. So these are the contents that we are going to follow during this session. So come to the introduction. Now, Kotlin is a multi-platform, statically typed, general-purpose programming language with type inference. So here, each and every term has a meaningful, value here. So multi-platform in the sense we can migrate our program to Java. We can migrate our program to iOS applications. That is, the technology we use to develop the iOS application is called the Swift. Swift programming language we can migrate, and it is statically typed, which is similar to Java. Java is, the statically typed programming language. C# is a statically typed programming language. C++ is a statically typed programming language. C also is a statically typed programming language. There are some other programming language which are dynamically typed programming language. For example, Python. Python is dynamically typed programming language, and we will see the examples that how the difference between the statically typed and the dynamically typed. But meanwhile, you remember Kotlin is a statically typed programming language, and also it is a general purpose programming language with type inference. So what is this type inference? We are going to discuss with the help of an example in our coming slides. Okay. So meanwhile, you just remember Kotlin is a multi-platform, statically typed general purpose programming language which is used to develop the Android application, which is used to develop the native application with the help of Kotlin. So what is native application? Again, we will see. Because Kotlin supports the full stack development application. When I say it is a full stack web application, so that means we are talking about the front end, we are talking about the back end, and we are talking about the all the scripting languages called JavaScript, HTML and CSS. Of course, when we talk about the Android programming language, to design the front end, we use the XML designing, okay, XML file, XML programming, extendable markup language. For design purpose, in the mobile application, we will use the XML. The same way, we can also use the JavaScript whenever you want to make the more dynamical applications. We can also introduce the JavaScript in Kotlin. So this is the beauty of the Kotlin, which will fulfill your cross-platform or multi-platform. Fine. So when we discuss or when we talk about the Kotlin, most of the students, they don't know what is Kotlin actually. If they are developing their applications, the mobile-based applications, then they might heard about the Kotlin. But because it is introduced in 2016 with version 1.0, so it is whenever the new technology or whenever the new programming language comes into the market, it will take some time to get because while developing as a developer, when we are developing any kind of application using any kind of technology, we face lot of challenges, lot of errors during the runtime. Fine. So in the same way, in 2016 it came to the picture, and it is officially supported by Google for Android development. Google has the sponsor for this Kotlin. As you know, Google is a famous the search engine, as well as it is providing becoming the service provider for providing the cloud-based services. In 2017, Google announces the first-class support for Kotlin on Android. That means it is migrating all its Java Android application to the Kotlin applications. In the same way, in 2019, Google announces that the Kotlin programming language is now its preferred language for Android app development in the industry. Okay, so whatever the designing is happening in Google, or whatever the projects which are taken care by the Google company to develop the applications, mobile application, now they are preferring the Kotlin programming language. Why they are preferring the Kotlin programming language? There is a feature, there is a beautiful feature called Cosine. Consign is the beautiful feature which is going to compress your code. आपका जो कोड रहेगा वो बिल्कुल कंप्रेस कर देगा. Okay. You are not supposed to write, earlier we used to write your Java program with the help of Pojo, right? With the help of Pojo. Getter and setter methods, with the help of getter methods, with the help of setter methods. To set the value to the variable, we will use the setter method, and we will copy those values to the default constructor, and we are retrieving those values from the getter method. So your program gets lengthy. So to avoid that, we use this Kotlin, which will concise your code. We will see that example in your next slide. So Kotlin version 1.4 was released recently in 2020, that is August 2020, which will also support Swift and Objective-C. Now, earlier I already told you that Swift is a programming language again, which is used to develop the iOS-based applications. Okay, iOS-based application, or we can also say the Apple applications. Fine. Whatever the application which are running on the Apple or iOS-based mobile, which are going to be developed with the help of Swift. So again, the migration or the cross-platform is going to support in Kotlin version 1.4. In Kotlin version 1.5 was released in May 2021, and this will be the updated version. Again, see, whenever the programming language are going to come to the market, and the versions are going to be changes, and the version are going to be updated. So updating the version is nothing but updating the library files. Always remember. So they are updating their library files to get more robust, okay, to get more enhanced, to develop the application. They are going to add the new library files, and by introducing the new versions. So in this session we are going to use the latest version, that is Kotlin 1.5, which is released in 2021. And this is all about the history. When we talk about the father of the Kotlin, it's a team actually. The team is called the JetBrains. So JetBrains is a company which is introduced this Kotlin. So JetBrains and team, they are they are actually the father, and they have owned this Kotlin programming language. So the main intention of this programming language is to introduce this IntelliJ. As you can see in my first slide, I have kept the two images. One is the Kotlin programming language logo, and the other one is the IntelliJ. So the IDEs plays the major role for the developer to do their program, to do their code, so that we can have the full stack development environment. Like we can have the JavaScript if you want, the Groovy, you can have the Groovy if you want, Go, you can introduce there. If you want Java, you can introduce there. If you want the Swift, you can introduce there. So for that reason, we are using in many companies they are using the Kotlin. Once the program get famous, obviously the supporting IDs are going to be used rapidly in the industry. Fine. Now I already told you that Kotlin is introduced by JetBrains, and it is a open source programming language. Open source programming language means it is available free of cost on the internet, without registration, without giving you a single detail, you can easily download that application in your computer system. And it is statically typed language. Why I am focusing on that? Because people are doing practice on the Python. Python, how it looks like means if you write the data is equal to 20, and you can store this the different value to the same variable, like data is equal to some string. But whereas statically typed language is, suppose here I have taken the example where m is equal to 70. We will see how the declaration of the variable will be. Okay. Take the highlighter here. So this will be the example. Like I am taking here m as a variable, and it is a type of integer. It is a type of integer, and you can store the value of 70. Now, if I want to reinitialize the m18, you can do it, but you cannot store the other type of value into that m. So this happened in Java, this happened in C language, this happened in C#, this happened in C++. In the same way, this happened in Kotlin also. But whereas in Python is something different. Okay, that is dynamic type language. In M, you can store 17. In M, you can store the floating value. In M, you can store the string value when we talk about the Python. But when we talk about the statically typed programming languages, we cannot do this kind of thing. If you do, you will get an error. You will get an error called the floating point literal does not conform to the expected type int. Fine. So this is what we have seen the history. That the first version is released February 15 February 2016. So officially language for Android development purpose, but of course you should know the core concept. If you don't know the core concept, if you don't know the fundamentals, you cannot develop the Android application easily. You face a lot of difficulties, lot of challenges. Because when you are developing the Android application, of course, there you have the graphical user interface. For designing the graphical user interface in Android application, use the XML. We use the XML programming language. So for backend, we use the Kotlin programming language. Fine. And that Kotlin is a 100% Java compatible. I said that it is a 100% interoperability with the Java. So that means you are not supposed to download a separate compiler to compile a Kotlin programmer. The Kotlin programmer is going to compile with the help of JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Suppose if you don't have the JVM, you can also develop the Kotlin application with the help of Kotlin native. There is a concept called Kotlin native, which is again which will support LLMV, that is low level virtual machine. Fine, that is a completely different concept, and which will be a very core concept. काफी core हो जाएगा और छोटा सा हो जाएगा, मुख्तसर सा हो जाएगा. So let's start from the JVM, so that some object-oriented programming language concept. So we will start from the JVM. Okay. Now these are some statistics I have captured from the JetBrains, the official website. The number of Android application in Kotlin. If you check here, in 2018, there are 52. There are 52% of mobile application which are using the Java, Java programming language, and that is 48. It is launched in 2016. Okay, in 3 years, the demand gets 48%. Okay. After 1 year, in 2019, maximum the companies are migrating from Java to the Kotlin. Okay, from Java to the Kotlin, because Kotlin is the 100% Java compatibility, and it is a cross-platform application, platform application. So maximum companies are migrating their Android applications from Java to the Kotlin. As you can see here, rapidly the Java demand is getting down, but indirectly Java is giving their supportive libraries to the Kotlin. It is not like that कि Java means it is ये खत्म हो गया. Java is providing their library support to the Kotlin. With the help of their libraries, Kotlin is developing these business applications. Okay, so that means it is we can switch easily Java to the Kotlin. Now we have the advanced IDEs where we can directly convert your Kotlin program to the Java easily. So that comes under the advanced IDEs, which are again provided by the JetBrains. Fine. No, these are the important that make different from the other programming language. Now Kotlin is a native without JVM but with LLVM backend compiler. We can develop the Kotlin application without JVM also. Okay, that is called Kotlin native. For that, you need to select the project type, what kind of application you are developing. Okay, whenever you are developing an application, it will ask. The IntelliJ idea is going to ask what kind of application you want to develop. You want to develop the Java application, you want to develop the Groovy application, you want to develop the Kotlin JVM application, or you want to develop the Kotlin native application. If you have selected the Kotlin native application, then you have to execute your program on a console with the help of some commands. And those commands are going to be supported by LLMV. This LLMV is a low-level virtual machine. The name is as a low-level virtual machine, but generally in terms we will say it as a standalone applications. Fine. The one more important and the new concept in the Kotlin is coroutines. So have you heard about the threads in Java? So you might heard the threads in Java. The same way in Kotlin we have the coroutines. Instead of the thread we use the coroutines. Fine. So coroutine similar to the thread to enable the multitasking. So without multitasking, your programs get slow. You cannot manage the load balance if you don't have the multitasking in your application. So your technology must support the multitasking to develop the multitasking application. So coroutine is also one type of key feature of Kotlin. It is easy coding. You are not supposed to bother about if you know the basic concept like how to define a variable, how to declare it, what is variable, what is class, what is object, what is control, control flows, conditions, operators. That is more than enough to do the coding. Okay, for Kotlin. If you are new to the Kotlin, you can easily understand the coding also. Fine. The other one is Java interoperability. From the beginning of this session, I am telling that it is use the Java libraries. Same way, the Java interoperability represents the existing libraries of JVM. JVM is again comes under the Java development toolkit. So we will use the existing Java libraries to compile and to execute the Kotlin program. It is a multi-platform support. We can migrate easily Kotlin to the Java. We can easily switch Kotlin to the JavaScript. We can easily switch Kotlin to some other programming languages called XML, fine, Swift, and many more. We have one more important feature here is called inference. So type inference is a key feature of the Kotlin, which is not required for the like we will do in our Python, like we will write in JavaScript also. We will write whenever we want to define a variable, you just simply write variable a is equal to 10. You will not write that what kind of variable it is. Is it an int? is it a float, is it a float, or is it a double, is it a string, or is it an array? So without defining the data type, we can also declare a variable that is called type inference. So Kotlin supports the type inference concept or the feature where you can declare a variable without the data type. Can you able to use a variable in Java without declaring its data type? No, it is not at all possible. It is not at all possible. अगर आप कोई वेरिएबल जावा में ले रहे हो और उसका डेटा टाइप आपने डिफाइन नहीं किया है, so you cannot use that variable. It will simply print an error. That variable is undefined. So here there is a feature, the type inference. So defining its data type also you can initialize the value. Internally consider it as the integer based on the variable value. You consider it a float based on the variable value. You consider it as a string based on its variable value. What value you are assigning, based on that, it consider its value. We will see how to check in the program. Okay, once I start the program, the practical, the practice, then we will see all these things. Next is statically typed. I have already told you it is a statically typed. Cannot write in int variable. You cannot store the float value. If you do, in compiler we will give the error. So these kind of things are pre-checked with the compiler. What happens? Your program get more accurate. Your accuracy become more in your program. And compiler, instantly it will remind you, kindly remove this error, kindly remove this error, so and so and so. So this will be, the key feature of again the Kotlin. And it is open source, of course. I have already told you it is open source. No more semicolons. We are not going to use the semicolon, even though it is an object-oriented programming language. As you can see in C language, we will use the semicolon. As you can see in C++, it is an object-oriented programming language where we will use the semicolon. In Java, we will use the semicolon. But Kotlin is also, support object-oriented programming language, but we are not going to use, the semicolons here. If you are writing the semicolon, no problem, it will ignore, the compiler is going to ignore. Simply it will compile your program. If you are not writing your semicolon, it is not required at all. Fine. Next, tool friendly. What it means, tool friendly? It can be used, the Kotlin can be used any NetBeans, okay, any IDE. IDE plays the major role. Fine. As a programmer, as a computer science engineer, you have to, you must know about the IDEs. You must use the IDEs. We are doing practice in Java. After learning the core Java concept, you must introduce, okay, your skills, okay, with the help of IDEs. The famous IDE which is used by the Java is NetBeans. You can also use for the Kotlin Eclipse. We can also use the Eclipse to develop the Kotlin. You can also use the IntelliJ. Or we can also use the Android Studio. So it is tool friendly. We can use any IDE to develop the Kotlin application. So in this session, I use the IntelliJ. So anybody having any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, fine. Now here, consign, I told you for consign, I have a separate slide for that. Like we are converting our programming language Pojo to the data class. Like for getting a setter method. You can see here, we will use in Java. This is a Java code. As you can see, it is a public class patient. where you will have the patient name, you will have the integer age, you have the email address. So here I have created one constructor. Generally, why we will use the constructors? To read the values, okay, to read the values from the user, okay, and to store from the local variable to the global variables. Same thing we are doing here in Java. If in Java, the good practice is always use the constructor for reading the values. In the same way, for getting the name, where we have the get name. For setting the name, we have the set name. The same way, for getting the email, we have the get. So this is a concept of Pojo. We do the practice whenever you are developing the Java application. Whereas in Kotlin, we are just migrating from that into a single line as an expression. So with the help of data class concept in Kotlin, we have written that concept in a very concise way. We have just written very in concise way. As you can see here, to the class we cannot find any kind of parameter. Whereas in data class, we are going to pass the parameters here. What is val, what is name, what is string. We will see these things in our coming slides. Okay, don't worry, because these are the new way to declare the variable here. General, we will pass the variable in different way in Java or C++. Simply we will write int a, comma int b, comma int c. Whereas here we are writing like val name colon string. So this will be the variable name, and this will be the keyword, and this is the data type. So variable can be defined with the help of two types, val as well as the var. VAL and VAR. Those things again we are going to discuss when we talk about the fundamental concept of the programming language. Before going to that, I need to introduce you the IntelliJ IDE so that we can do practice on that. Right? So what kind of application we can develop with the help of that IDE? So from the main menu, we are going to select these types of application. Like we can develop the JVM application, we can develop the console application, we can develop the mobile application, we can develop the libraries, we can develop the multi-platform applications like Swift or XML, whatever. Then we can add the existing libraries. If you want to add the libraries, you can add it. Fine. You can develop the native application. As I told you, native application is the application which is going to be executed without LLVM. Without JVM. But with the help of LLVM. So we use LLVM here to develop the native application. Next, it supports, or we can develop the full stack web application, and we can also design the front-end application. So these are the applications which we can develop with the help of IntelliJ. Of course, in this session, we are going to discuss, or we are going to see practice on the JVM applications. Fine. So these are the fundamentals of Kotlin that we are going to cover in this session. That first we will write a hello world. This is it's a traditional practice that we always print a welcome message on a screen with the help of a program whenever you are learning a new program. So we will print the hello world message with the help of Kotlin. Then we will see about the variables and their data types, how to define the variables, how to declare the variable, how many ways the variable can be defined or declared, and how many ways a variable can be initialized in Kotlin. So we will see this thing, and we also see the operators. In operators, there are nothing changed. But how you are practiced in Java, the same you are going to practice in Kotlin operator also. Okay. So we will see the type conversion here. As you can see, in type conversion in Java, we have the type casting or type conversion. Like we are converting int data type to the float data type or float to the int data type. Okay. So if you want to store the integer value into the float, it is called the implicit typecasting. If you want to store the float value in integer, that is called explicit typecasting. So we will do type conversion for that to achieve the storing the value to the class, cross data types. The same way, we will see the expressions. This is important again. There we have uh, introduce the control flows, like what kind of we are like in Kotlin we are not going to use the switch case as you have used in your C, C++, Java, C#, but in Kotlin we are not going to use the switch case. So how to achieve then statements to fulfill the switch case feature? So we are going to discuss with the help of example, and we will see comments is very simple. How the comments are there in Java, the same way we are going to do. We are going to apply the comments like double slash or slash asterisk. Same way we are going to see that, and how to read and write the values. Fine. So without wasting the time on this basic concept, let's start the practical. But how we are going to start our first programming language, that is called Kotlin, with the help of IntelliJ. So these are the the IDs which are going to be used to develop the Kotlin. So among this we are going to use the IntelliJ. So IntelliJ is a free of cost application which is present on JetBrains website. You simply go to the Google, type the Google. If you have any doubt here, till now, if you have any doubt, still anybody having any doubt, like what is this, sir? Again, I didn't get what actually it is, or what are the importance. If anybody have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I will continue. Fine. So it seems no doubt. Okay. So go to the Google, search here IntelliJ. IntelliJ, IDEA. So here IDEA stands for actually the Integrated Development Environment. The JetBrains have given the modern name it as an IDEA. Better to say IDEA, not to say IDE. Of course, in if I type the NetBeans. So if I type the NetBeans, it always gives the name called IDE. As you can see here, it gives the IDE name. Okay, if I type the Eclipse, again it will give the IDE option. As you can see here, it is giving the IDE. But IntelliJ has has given the modern name called IntelliJ IDEA. So again, the idea is nothing but the same thing here, the IDE itself. Okay, so no need to worry. What is IDEA? IDEA is nothing but the integrated development. In some in some blogs, in some articles, they have. I am requesting kindly. Okay, here. Ali Naqvi, kindly don't unmute yourself. Some kind of from your side. Ali Naqvi, kindly mute. Thank you. So just enter the IntelliJ and visit to the official website, that is JetBrains, and download from here. So basically there are two versions. So based on your operating system, if you have the Windows operating system, you have these two, the versions are available. If you have the Mac, again you have the two versions. If you have the Linux, then you click this Linux. So based on your operating system, select from here. Okay. So the majority of the operating system which is used in India is Windows. So here there are two versions. One is the Ultimate and the second one is Community. If you check the Community, this is a free of cost. You're not supposed to pay a single rupee to download this application. Whereas if you download the Ultimate, so it is a trial version available for 30 days. After that, it is going to be expired. Then you have to buy this software. So my suggestion is download this Community. Okay. Yes. Anybody want to say anything? Fine. You just download the Community version here. You just click on download button. It start the downloading. Okay. So as you can see here, it has started already downloading here. After downloading, you have to install the IDR in such a way that how you are installing your normal software. Okay. But it is already installed in my computer system, so I will stop here so that I can don't waste my memory space in my hard disk. So after installing, you have to double click it and you have to open it and you have to install it. Okay, you have to install in a simple step. No need to worry. It is not that much of difficult to install the application. So after installing the application, it will ask, okay, where you want to install this location. You view the location and just click next and install it. And finally, it will ask to launch the IntelliJ IDEA. As you can see here, this is the latest version, the Community Edition 2021 1.2 version. So which is released in May 2021. Fine. So I'm opening this IDE. Let's have a look how the interface of this IDE will be. Meanwhile, I will admit. So it is opening. Because this is already installed in my system, so for you people it will take some time to reload or load the applications into the IDE. Okay, into the IDE. Fine. So here I have already some files available. So I will just close these files. So this is the interface. Okay, this is the user interface of IntelliJ. This is the user interface of IntelliJ. So whenever, as you can see here, some shortcuts to view the project Alt+1. You have to enter Alt+L. There is a common search, box in this IntelliJ. Whatever you want, whatever the feature you want in IntelliJ, you can search with the help of that shortcut. Simply press Alt+Shift+S. Alt+Shift. Alt+Shift+A. By pressing the Alt+Shift+A, you can get the search box here. Whatever the changes you want to do, those changes can be done with the help of this search box. Suppose I want to increase the font size of this, the text area. You can search here. Like suppose if I enter here font, directly it is going to that particular command here. Okay, here setting में directly वो चले जाएगा और font आप यहाँ से select कर सकते हो. So it will help to navigate to that particular location what you want to search in this IDE. So this will be the beautiful, the feature which is available in IntelliJ IDEA. So simply just press Ctrl+SK and you go and you can search whatever you want. Fine. So the first application here I'm developing the Kotlin application. Anybody want to do the practice along with me? They can do. Fine. I will allow some time to you to do practice, because we are doing more practice on this IDE. We are getting the variables, we are getting the classes, and we are getting the functions. So meanwhile, if you have the systems, if you have the laptops in your respective home, so students, you can download the application from the internet and install it, and you do along with me. So simply to develop an application, you click on a file, new project. Okay, let's click on a project. The dialog box is going to be appear in front of you. As I have told you, so many applications you can develop with the help of this Kotlin. Like it will support Java here. It will support Kotlin. If you go to the Kotlin here, in one of my slides, I have shown you these applications. I just migrate to that one. As you can see here, Java, JVM, all those things you can see here. The mobile application, mobile library, application, library, native application. If you want to develop the native application, you can develop. If you want to develop the application, you can develop. If you want to develop the console application, you can develop. Okay. So, or you can if you want to develop the web application, full stack web application, you can develop from here. Fine. So before accessing these kind of applications, you must know what is React, what is Node.js, okay, what is JavaScript, what is XML. You must know about these concepts. So unless and until you cannot achieve this application, you cannot have the clarity on this. So your first and most we will do here from the Java, because we are using the Java compatibility. From Java, I am selecting the the Kotlin JVM. I am using the Kotlin JVM. So as you can see here, it is using the library called Kotlin Java Runtime. I will use a magnifier, if you allow me, so this will be clear. As you can see here, Kotlin Java Runtime environment. Okay, this is the library. In this library, on this platform, we are going to do practice on Kotlin programming language. So simply press on next button. What I have done, I have selected the Java here, then I have selected the Kotlin. Lakshmi, I'm requesting Lakshmi.
Disturbance or voice disturbance?
I'm getting the disturbance from this guy. Ali Nafri. Okay. Anyhow, kindly mute yourself so that it cannot interfere during the session, because we are doing the coding here. As you know, how complicated as a programmer, how complicated doing the program. If you forgot any kind of thing, then it will give the error. Fine. So anyhow, we are here. Kotlin. Just select the Kotlin JVM and click on it next. I hope you have remembered. Once again, I will show you. बाद में भूल जाओगे. ठीक है. दोबारा मैं बता रहा हूँ. यहाँ पर आप देख लीजिए. New project. Click on Java. Select the Kotlin JVM. Click on next. Next. Give whatever the project name you want to give. Suppose here I am giving Kotlin project. Okay. First Kotlin project. So this is my project name. As you can see here, the location where it is storing my projects in C drives, users. Okay, I will use the magnifier so that it can be visible. Here you can see the location where actually the project files are going to be saved. See C colon the users workstation is a folder which is available already in your computer system. Idea projects, first Kotlin project. Okay, just click on next, finish. Now it is asking because here I have already one project is there. The project is called my app. Okay, as you can see here, my app is there. So would you like to continue in this window or would you like to open a new window? So I just click on a new window. Will open a new window. New window यहाँ पर open हो जाएगी. So I will close the previous window from here. Now this is how it looked like after creating the project. As you can see here, in your project there are there are some the packages which are going to be created automatically by the idea IntelliJ. The one folder is called the idea, which is going to be which are the supporting file to execute your programs here, and other are the resources, and the next one is called the module files. This IML stands for module. So module file is going to support to execute your Kotlin file. So after creating this project, you are not supposed to do anything. Simply right click on this, create a file here. Okay, create a file. If you right click on a source, it will not give the module option. That means you can also create the modules. If you right click on a project, it will give some other different option, like if you want to create a script, you can create a script. If you want to create a directory, suppose if you are developing the web-based applications, then for storing the images, you can create the directory. Okay, if you want to create a file, you can create a file. If you want to create a module, you can create a module. But I want to create a file by right-clicking here. As you can see, I want to create a file called Kotlin class file. Select this option, Kotlin class file. In version 1.3, it will have some different look and feel, whereas in 2021, it is giving like this. Okay, so nothing, by seeing in 1.3 also, you can easily understand. It is in 2020. Fine. So in 2021, some look and feel has been changed. Okay. So simply, you click here and give your file name. Okay. My file name is IRST first one. Okay. So this is my file name. Simply, what kind of file is it? Is it a class? Is it a file? Is it an interface? Is it a data class? Is it an enum? Is it a sealed class? Is it an annotation or object? Okay. So these below concepts comes under the OOPS concept. But for the time being, we are creating only the file here. Even we are not creating a class. We will create a class after understanding what is variable, what is function, and what are data types. After understanding this, we will create the class, and we will do a very simple application, very basic console application to develop the banking transaction program. Okay, banking transaction program का हम यहाँ पर एक छोटी सी practice करेंगे. Students, as you can see here, we are doing the business logics. We are not doing the designing here. Okay, for doing the designing, we have a separate programming language called the XML. We do the designing on XML if you are developing the mobile application. Okay, so the designing, nowadays the front end is not that much of important, not that much of tough when compared to the business logic. The business logic plays the major role. What are the algorithms you are learning in your your course curriculum? Whatever the logics you are learning to achieve the particular task, what are the security algorithms you are learning to apply the security in your application, those the logics and algorithms will be applied in the business logic. Okay, These are the languages which are going to support or which are going to achieve your goal to do your algorithms. Fine. So doing again the XML, it is again with the help of IntelliJ you can do that concept easily with the help of drag and drop. आप ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप के जरिए टेक्स्ट बॉक्स बना सकते हो, ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप के जरिए बटन बना सकते हो. तो एक जो यूजर इंटरफेस है जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं, यू कैन क्रिएट इजीली. बट व्हाट इज द बिहाइंड ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर application? You can say it as a behind logic behind. So that comes under the core concept, core programming languages. It is object oriented programming language that we are doing here. Okay, I'm not going to bother about the front end here because we are practicing the console application. We are practicing the fundamental concept because this is completely different, the syntactically different from the Java. The class is also syntactically different from Java. The variable declaration is also syntactically different from Java, C, C++. That's why I have introduced this one as a fundamental concept here. Otherwise, we can directly develop the mobile application. Fine. So I have given the name here. I'm just clicking on the file. By double clicking on file, it will create your file here. So if you observe on the top of this menu, I will open the magnifier once. Then in future we will not use this. As you can see here, my Kotlin file extension is .kt. When we create the Java file, it will use .java. When we use the C language file, it will use extension called C. When we use the C++, it will use the CPP. If we use the C#, it will use the CS. If we use the HTML, it will use. So that means on every programming language, on every files, it has the file extensions. Right? So those file extensions are the source code actually. Those are the source code which are written by the developer, which are written by the programmer, which are written by us. आप और हम लिख रहे हैं, ठीक है? So .kt के ये directly extension वो create कर लेगा IDE. KT stands for Kotlin. Fine. So here you have to write the functions. Here you have to write the functions. So my first aim is to print a hello message on a screen. Okay. So to define a function here, simply write fun space args, sorry, main, open the bracket, argument args, colon, array of string. This is my simple function. You can maximize your screen by holding the control and your this mouse rotator. Fine. Scroll होता है ना, scroll bar. इसको आप rotate करेंगे तो आपका screen automatically size बढ़ जाएगा. And you are not supposed to save the file. Automatically the IntelliJ is going to save your file. Now, simply I will print first a message here. Next we will do it. So to print a message, for printing the message, for reading the the data, for printing the data, for reading the data, it is called the input and output operations. Okay. So input and output operation is different in Kotlin. Input and output operations in Kotlin. So to achieve this output, we use a function called readLine. With the help of readLine, we can read the string or a particular line. But again, the problem is the compatibility problem where you face in Java also, whenever you want to convert the string value into the integer, you need to do some kind of parsing. In the same way, here also we will do some parsing. Okay, so here we will use a different functions to do the parsing as we have done in Java. Fine. So this output we will discuss in our next slide. But meanwhile, we will do to print the hello message. Okay, the aim is to print the hello message or display the welcome message. So we have a method called println. Simply write the println, and whatever the message you want to print, you can print. Hello. Actually, this is the traditional message. If you want to print other, you can print it, not a problem. Fine. Now, as you can see here, this is a simple function. You can execute this program directly because the starting point of the Kotlin is the main function. The main function is always the starting point of the Kotlin file. Okay. Now, if you observe here, we have a source file, we have an idea, we have the libraries. Some changes are going to be happen here. Okay, I will check where my files are stored. Actually, I just want to show you what happening behind this programming language. Whenever you are practicing on that workstation, idea projects, first Kotlin projects. I have created this, right? This is my file. Fine. You can open this file in any edit ++. Fine. You can see here. This is my file where I have kept. There is a folder called production is going to be created. That folder is going to be created after compiling this Kotlin file. Okay. So to compile a Kotlin file, just click on this button, or you can click from here. Okay, or you can apply the shortcut key, that is Alt + Shift + F10. Okay, so we have different way to compile or execute the program. So simply always use this button, shortcut button. Click this button, then this message, this pop-up is going to be appear. Then select the Run Kotlin. Now you can see here to the below of this window, Kotlin is connecting, and it is compiling the program. It is going to be executed, and as you can see, the hello world is going to be appear in front of you. Okay, the hello world is going to be appear. Now here, a different folder called out. अभी हम यहाँ पर आगे चेक कर रहे थे तो ये फोल्डर यहाँ पर मौजूद नहीं था. जैसे कि मैंने कंपाइल किया है तो वहाँ पर एक नया फोल्डर क्रिएट हो चुका है. So this folder is placed since here. As I already told you, one production folder is going to be created in which our class is going to be stored. Our class is going to be stored. Here, the first Kotlin at.class. We have not created this class. We have not created this class. As in Java, as you can see, after compiling, the .class file is going to be generated, and JVM is always search for the .class file. JVM is also always search for the .class file. Just give me a second, I will drink some water. Sorry for the disturbance. Now here the hello world is displayed. Now what happening, the flow of this program is, after compiling your program, the Kotlin compiler will create the .class file, as you can see here in this folder. the dot class file is going to be created. You can also see from here also, right click, or if you click this, modify run configuration. Here you can see the main class is first Kotlin 80. We have not created this. We have not created. This is created automatically after compiling your program. Fine. So you are not supposed to disturb these files here as well as here. Okay. So this dot class, JVM का एक rule है ना, आपको हमेशा याद रहना चाहिए. Java का JVM always searches for the classes. Which classes? Main classes. JVM always searches for the main classes. And what is the main work of JVM is to execute the program, not to compile the program. JVM always execute the program. Here we are using the same JVM. आपको ये बार-बार एक डाउट आ रहा होगा, सर बार-बार JVM इस्तेमाल यहाँ पर वर्ड इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, तो JVM के तो JVM में कोई भी मैसेज प्रिंट कराने के लिए तो वहाँ पर अलग कंडीशन होता है. JVM तो जावा वर्चुअल मशीन का एक इंटरप्रेटर है. Then here we are using some other method called println, but there is a different method called system.out.println. What is the difference between here? There also JVM is acting, here also JVM is acting. If you right click on this println, or if you click here, press Ctrl plus B. Now there is a console.kotlin file. As you can see, all your functions is going to be converted to system.out.println. This is the beauty of the Kotlin. This is how the Kotlin is 100% or interoperability or 100% compatibility with the Java. JVM is reading this file. That means you are calling this function. Okay, you're calling this function, and this function is going to be override, going to be executed this line of code. So what I'm doing, I'm printing a message. If you print an integer, if you take an integer, if you print a long, if you take an in long, if you print a byte, if you take in a byte, okay, or if you're printing some other things, it will take any question mark. So there are some kind of placeholders which will consider it as a string, or is it considered as a some kind of special character. So indirectly it will change it, right? तो अभी जो फंक्शन वो कॉल किया है वो ये वाला फंक्शन कॉल किया है. अगर मैं यहाँ पर int अगर मैं डिस्प्ले कराता तो मे बी इट इज गोइंग टू कॉल दिस फंक्शन. So there are a lot of things are going to be happen behind the scene in Java as well as in any programming languages. But we are understanding because we are using some advanced IDEs to understand the core concept of the programming languages. Dear students, always use the IDEs to do the good practice or more practice on your respective program. Decide your program, decide your favorite language, and start doing the projects. Whatever programming language you like, and start doing the projects on that. Fine. So as I already told you that here the dot class file is generated. The same way, what is this println? How the JVM is understanding this println? I told you that indirectly JVM is calling this println, and it is printing with the help of system.println only, because we are using the JVM library files. That is why it is calling. Yeah. Anif, share. Yeah, if you want to ask anything. If you don't have any doubt, please kindly put yourself. Sorry. So this is a very simple program to print a hello message. Now next week, just go through the PPT. As you can see, we are using this IntelliJ, so IntelliJ idea. I'm requesting student kindly mute yourself. So these are some between
Sir, your voice is echoing.
Hanif. I'm requesting once again kindly mute yourself so that there should not be any disturbance during the session. So this will be, the program which is written in Java to print a hello message, and this is the program which is written in Kotlin to print a hello message. Fine. So hope ज़्यादा इसमें difficulty आएगी आपको.
Somebody is playing music.
Yes, students, kindly mute yourself. Who are on mute, we'll be deleting them. We'll remove them from the meeting. Yes, Hanif. Please keep yourself on mute.
Okay.
If it happens again, then we will block you from the meeting. You can continue, sir.
See, this is the program. This is the program which is written in Kotlin, and this will be the work. The workflow. Just now I have explained that how the Kotlin file is going to be executed and where the .class file is executed and where it is kept in which folder. Because JVM always understand the .class file. So obviously there are some classes. Without class we cannot run the JVM. The JVM cannot run a single program. So as by seeing this program, it is a simple function. So how the JVM function? I will remove this person, I think.
Yes, sir, please, you can remove this person, sir.
Now, how we are going to, declare the variables in Kotlin? In Java, we will write simply the data type, the variable name, and followed by the variable value. In Kotlin, we will use two variable, keywords called val and var. Val and var. As you can see on a PPT on a slide, here I am using the value and here I am using the val. What happens if I use the val and what happens if I use the var, and we will see with the help of example in detail. And which is very important whenever you are doing the practice in Kotlin, you must aware of this val and var. ऐसा नहीं है कि val भी लिखे तो मतलब प्रोग्राम रन हो जा रहा है, val भी लिखे तो प्रोग्राम रन हो रहा है. Then what are the difference between val and var? That is not that much of makes sense. You must know the main difference between the val and var. So val variable can never change their value. So it is like acting a final variable. Val is acting like a final variable in Kotlin. Once you initialize, like in the example here I have declared the val u is equal to 18. Okay, what is this u? U is a variable name and this is a parameter that I am initializing. Okay, the value that I am initializing, the u. But again, if I am trying to reinitialize this value, it is printing the error called illegal access error. Try to access field line 16, whatever it may be. Okay, if you do this code in your respective ID. So because of this line, you will face an error. Whereas var is a kind of variable, you can reassign the value to it. Like in language, I have assigned the German. After I again reassign the language into the some other string value called French. Some other value called French. As you can observe, here I have not given any kind of data type. यहाँ पर मैंने कुछ भी data type नहीं दिया है. When we talk about the other programming languages called C, C++, Java, C#, you must initialize, you must declare what kind of data type is it. Is it a int? Is it a float? Is it a double? Or is it a string or character, whatever, or a boolean? But here I have not given any kind of data type. This is called a type inferent. This is one of the feature of Kotlin called type inferent. So it comes under the type inferent, where you are not supposed to define the the type of the variable. The variable here is like the Python. The value can change often as an you want. But Python में एक और एक चीज ये है जैसे कि यहाँ पर आपने लिखा है कि var language is equal to German. But again, if you reinitialize the language, you must give the string. You cannot give the integer. You cannot give the integer value. Whereas in Python is a dynamic type language. In language, you can store the string. In language, you can store the integer value. In language, you can store the the double value, the floating value. Whereas in Kotlin, you cannot do it. You cannot data type initialize अगर नहीं भी करोगे तो चलेगा, but value must be the same what you have initialized before it. Like you have initialized before the string, later I have converted into some other value, but it is still string. It is still string as a parameter. This is the important that you have to remember. So यहाँ पर दो चीज क्लियर हुए हैं. वेरिएबल को दो तरीके से हम यहाँ पर डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं. The first is with the help of val, and the second is with the help of val. What are the difference? If you declare your variable, if you assign your variable with the help of val, later you cannot change it. It is not possible. But if you use val, you can change it later. Fine. Apart from that, you have one more here. It is one other way to declare the variable, that is this. Normally, we are declaring in Java with the help of data type. This is declaring the value without the help of data type. Here, we are declaring the value with the help of data type. And here, you are using the val, the variable name, followed by a colon, and the data type. Still, I have not initialized the value. I have initialized the value in the second line. U is equal to 18. What happened if again I reinitialize this value? It will give an error because this is a val. You cannot reinitialize double. Twice you cannot do. You cannot apply the iteration if you are using the val. You have to initialize once. So it acts as a final. It acts as a final here. So in the same way, right. But you cannot do like this. सर आपने यहाँ पर किया है val u और data type यहाँ पर define नहीं किया है. मैं भी ऐसे ही करना चाह रहा हूँ, val u और data type define नहीं करूँगा, but value को initialize करूँगा. It will give an error. It is only possible if you want to initialize the value at the same line, same time. अगर कोई भी variable आप define कर रहे हो और उसको आप change नहीं करना चाह रहे हो और वहाँ पर आप डेटा टाइप नहीं देना चाह रहे हो, तो आपको वैल्यू वहां पर ही इनिशियलाइज करना पड़ेगा. अगर आप वैल्यू बाद में इनिशियलाइज करना चाह रहे हो, देन इट इज नॉट वर्क्स इन टाइप रेफरेंस. ओके, द टाइप रेफरर ओनली अप्लाइड फॉर द सेम टाइम इनिशियलाइजेशन वैल्यू. So it will give an error. It will give an error. Whereas in variable here you can also declare the var like this string type, and later you can assign the value and you can change the value because it is a var. No problem. We don't have any problem. But we cannot do like this. If you do like this, then it will give an error. So data type, if you are not giving, then it's your responsibility to give the value immediately. If you want to give the value later, then you must give the data type. Fine. So you can see the differences of val and var. Val is a immutable and var is a mutable. So I already told you that it acts as a final variable. So like in Java, here if you keep the val as a variable, it's a final. You cannot reassign the value. So if you want, you can do it here, like I'm defining. So I'm defining val. My the variable name is data, suppose, and I'm storing some 10. Why I'm typing? Because again, what the behind is going on, because I have not given the data type. How the compiler is understanding whether is it a integer, whether is it a character, whether is it a string, how it is understanding. So I will tell you. Now you can print here, like in Java, we use the concatenation operator called plus, and we will pass the argument as a parameter here, the value. Okay, so you can do like this. No need to save this file because the IntelliJ all automatically save your file. What happened? If I compile, you can see here it's printing hello world and it is printing 10. Okay. There is one more possibility to print the data with the help of dollar symbol. With the help of dollar symbol, you can also print it. इस तरीके से भी आप प्रिंट करा सकते हो. फाइन. सो प्लस ऑपरेटर के जरिए भी आप करा सकते हो और डॉलर सिंबल के जरिए भी आप डेटा को प्रिंट करा सकते हो. Now you execute this again. I will change the value this time so that it can be differ from the previous program. So this time it will print 11. Fine. So by printing this and by printing this same way, they're printing on screen. So I hope you got an idea how to print the value, how to how the value is going to be displayed on your screen. The help of this. The help of this. Now I want to again reinitialize this, right? Data is equal to 10. So 10. Now you can see here the red line is going to be appear just below this 10. As you can see, the message is displaying val cannot be reassigned. Val cannot be reassigned. Just a second. Here I will take a small break, 5 minutes of break. After break, we will meet again. Meanwhile, I will share, the feedback form link. You are supposed
Can
to
we leave?
feedback form link. Okay. Kindly give the feedback. I'm sharing in the text box here. You can see in your text box, this meeting text box. You can see the feedback form. Kindly fill the feedback form. We will start within 5 minutes.
Sir, I'm not getting link, sir.
I request the students to wait for some more time. Sir has sent a feedback form. Please fill that feedback form, and we'll end this topic in 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, please be on mute, everyone. Yes, everyone, please be on mute. I request boys to not to leave the session, please. We'll end this topic in 15 minutes. Please wait for 15 minutes. Yes, who is this? Please mute yourself. So please remove this person. Sir, I request you to please remove this person.
Yeah, I have removed, man.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So we will just go through with these slides. I will try to complete within half an hour. Start, sir. I just try to complete within half an hour. Am I? So these are the Kotlin variables and types. Kotlin is, I told you that it is statically typed. So कंपाइल टाइम में पता चल जाएगा कि वो इंटीजर है या नहीं है. One thing I just want to show you in this is that how the compiler is knowing whether it is a integer or just click here. Okay, press Control Shift and P. Now you can see the a small message. It is showing that it is an integer. If I enter just here a message called Hyderabad, suppose it is a city name. It is printing it is a string. Fine. Suppose if I enter some value here. Decimal. It is telling that it is a double. If I just enter here the F, sorry, if I press F, then it will show it is a float. So you can see here the different types of the data types is already going to be assigned with the compiler in the Kotlin. You are not supposed to give the data types if you are assigning the value at the same time. Okay. If you want to assign the value later, then you just type the value data colon followed by the type of data type. Suppose if it is an integer, you must enter the integer I capital. In Java, C, C++, we used to type the I in small letters, but here you have to type the integer I capital. If it is a double, type the double capital. If it is a float, type the float capital. If it is a character, type the C capital. So later you can define, or else you can also define here also. Okay, like 10. यहाँ पे भी आप कर सकते हो, या फिर you can assign below. So if you do practice, then it will get perfection in this particular programming language. Fine. So just come to this slide. We'll continue with this variables. We have seen that how the variables is going to be assigned and how many way we can declare and we can assign the variables. As you can know here, the compiler knows the language is of type int, marks of double before the compile time. जैसे कि मैंने अभी आपको बताया था, शॉर्टकट की के जरिए वो खुद ब खुद उसे पता चल जा रहा है. Whether is it a byte, string, or the float or double. So these are the data types which are going to be supported. Of course, apart from that, it is also supported the array. It is also supported the array and many collection framework भी है यहाँ पर, कई सारे collection framework भी support करता है. So this is a byte which will take the 8 bits, short, 16 bits, int, 32 bit, and long, so on. So we will move. As I told you, this is the statical type. So you cannot write where data is equal to Hyderabad and data is equal to 10. Once you define it is a string, you cannot assign the string into the the integer value. Whereas in Python you can do it. Python it is going to allow you. You can store the data string and you can store the integer value in the same data. Fine. Here one more example. If suppose if you don't know the data type of the data type of your particular the variable, this can be possible. In Kotlin we have a special kind of data type called number type. If you are not sure what number value is variable is going to assign the program, you can specify the number type. It is going to assign. You can store the integer. Here you can store the int, or you can store the long. So this concept is called smart casting. Smart casting, which is done automatically by the Kotlin compiler. Okay. So how do you define that one? With the help of this where test colon number. So here the number will be Here the number will be the data type, and this data type can be, the float, later it can be integer, later it can be long. Okay, how do you differentiate between the integer and long? You have to write here long. How do you differentiate the data type double and float? You have to write the f. If you write the f, then it will become the float. If you don't write the fractional after fractional part, then it will indicate it as a double. So these are the operators. Almost all the operators it is going to be supported in the Kotlin. So no need to see about all these things. We will directly go to the type conversion. So type conversion, here we have it some different concept, like how we are converting the types in Java. We will use the functions. Okay, in Java we have two types of type conversion. One is internal, internal typecasting, and the second one is external typecasting. Internal typecasting is the typecasting which will done if you want to store the smaller value into the larger value. If you want to store the smaller value into the larger type value, it can be done automatically. Whereas, if you want to store the larger value into the smallest value, you have to do explicitly typecasting. Okay, you have to do explicitly typecasting. But in Kotlin, there is no automatic type conversion. चाहे छोटी वैल्यू में आप बड़ी वैल्यू स्टोर करिए या बड़ी वैल्यू में छोटी वैल्यू स्टोर करिए, आपको एक्सप्लिसिटली टाइपकास्ट करना ही पड़ेगा. As you can see in Java, int number 1 is equal to 55, long number 2 is equal to number 1. So 55 can be stored in long easily because there is typecasting is happening behind the code automatically by the compiler. Here value of num1 of type int is automatically converted. It comes under the Java. Whereas in Kotlin you cannot do. In Kotlin you cannot do like this. Suppose number 1 is an integer, that is 55, and you are trying to store that 55 into long, it will give is a type mismatch. Then how will you achieve this? You have to use some set of functions. You have to use some set of functions like I have used here. Too long. Okay, too long. Even though integer is a smaller value, but you cannot store into the long value because we don't have the automatically conversion in Kotlin. So it is very important. If suppose if you are facing any kind of challenges in programming language in comparative studies, so you have to remember this concept. Fine. So Kotlin does not automatically convert into the long, or it cannot convert long into the int. So you need to do explicitly. So to do that, we have set of methods like 2 byte. You want to convert any data type to 2 byte, you have to write 2 byte. You want to convert any data type to 2 short, you have to do it. If you want to convert into the int, you have to write 2 int. Long, 2 long, float, 2 character. For Boolean we don't have. Okay, for Boolean we don't have. The function mentioned above can be used both direction. However, conversion from larger to smaller type may truncate the value. This is important. Like here I have done, this is an integer and I am converting this integer to the byte. This makes the program, the output different. आपको आउटपुट जो है कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं आएगा, इनकंसिस्टेंसी आपको ठीक है एनकाउंटर करेगा. फाइन. The same way we have the expressions, statements and blocks in Java. How we have the statements, the same way here also we have the statements and Java. But here you can write the expression in a form of a statement. Here the statement can be converted into the expression. In Java it is not possible. You cannot write in a single line. You cannot write the complete, the condition and everything in a single line. Now this is the variety flavors of this programming language. where you can change your conditions, your program as per your convenience. Okay, as per your convenience. Apart from that, it is also giving some other flavors. Okay, some other flavors, right? If it is a single line, you are not supposed to give the braces, and the entire result you can store into the max. Okay, you can store into the max, so it is possible. 3-4 लाइन जहाँ पर आते थे वो एक ही लाइन में यहाँ पर आप अपना कोड कर चुके हैं, and simply you are printing the result. Okay, simply you are printing the result. Where if condition is generally written some value, or it will return some value. Like if you are checking the condition, is it a true or false? After true or false, it will print the value integer, or it may be the string. But here it may be the value, it may be the string, or it may be the integer value. All the values are going to be stored in this max. Okay, and finally that max is going to be printed. Now Kotlin input output, we have already seen how to print the data on Kotlin with the help of println. I have shown you how internally the system.out.println is called by the JVM. So we have checked with the help of Control B as a shortcut. So for reading the value, we have different things, different way. With the help of read line, we can read the value, or with the help of scanner class, we can read the value. So read line के जरिए भी आप read कर सकते हो, और scanner class के जरिए भी आप read कर सकते हो. If you use the scanner class, the same method that you have to use, you have used earlier in Java. Same method I am using here, where I have already used in Java. Next int, next float, next double. Okay. Next line, if you want to write, you can write next line, or else directly you can write here read line. So both the way is possible. But if you are writing the read line, and if you want to convert that into the integer, so you need to apply the parsing. Hello. So you need to apply the parsing. In Java, we will write integer dot parseInt, but in Kotlin, we will write integer of value of, integer dot value of, float dot value of, double dot value of. Okay. So all those things we are going to write. So to get long, float, double, boolean input, so we will use different kind of the functions for the scanner class, like next long, next float, next double, and next boolean. So control flow, the if condition is similar as in Java, but we can also write in a single word as an expression. Okay, as an expression, like here I am writing. Okay, in a green color, you can see this line. So this will be a very traditional way to write the if condition, and in Kotlin, because Kotlin is a consign, so we can write in a single line. No need to write these many lines. So you can write in a single line. You can store that value into a into a variable, and finally you can print that value with the help of printer. So if this is the if condition, positive, else negative number. Because of time, constraint, unable to execute this program. Otherwise, we can do this practice on IntelliJ. Here you can see we have the ternary operator in Java. As you can see, max is equal to this question mark is going to be acting as if condition. If n is greater than n1 is greater than n2, then print n1, and this colon is act as a else part, else n2. Okay. In the same way in Kotlin, we will write like this: if n is greater than n2, then n1 else n2. Okay. Same that we have already done here in this line. The same thing here I am presenting. Right. So we have an expression called control flow called when. So when is a when is a here the switch. It is acting as a switch case in Kotlin. It is acting as a switch case in Kotlin. So I will check We'll try to write this program. Like how the switch case look like, it has the cases, different cases, case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4 and case 5. In the same way, I just want to write here, I will use I will use here code java.util scanner. No need to write the semicolon. Semicolon is not required. Here var equal to data, or you can say it as a choice colon. Suppose choice is type of integer. Fine. I am creating the object. Now, how do you create the object in Kotlin? In Java, how do you create the object of scanner class? Scanner space sc equal to new scanner system dot in. Like that you are going to write in Java, right? But in Kotlin, for creating the object is something different. Like scanner system dot in. That's it. This in you have to write in double quotes, or this single quotes. In single quotation you have to write this in. And what will be my object name is val space sc equal to. So this is my object. So in this way we are creating the object. Suppose if you want to create the object of some cycle, if you want to create the object of some rectangle, so how do you create the object of rectangle? Simple, rectangle. Rectangle. That's it. This is how we are creating the objects. Okay. What is the name of this object? Because why we are creating the objects? To call the methods, to call the functions, to call the data members. So we store this, object into some obj. That's it. So this is how we are creating the object in Kotlin. Fine. So we have seen how to create the object in Kotlin. Why we have created this object? To read the value at runtime. Println enter the choice. Enter the choice. Now how to read the value? Simple. Choice is equal to sc dot next int. That's it. I will remove this. Then I will use here when, and I will pass the choice here. So here the when is acting like a switch case. So we don't have a switch case, directly switch case in Kotlin. Rather we will use a when as a control flow. When as a control flow. So remember please, after that, if it is an integer, we will write 1 arrow mark. So what you want to do? I want to print the message. I want to print the message that if you use ln, then it will take the new line. If you are writing the print, then without new line it will go. So you selected choice 1. You selected choice 1. The same way, if you have selected the second choice, of course this is not the complete program, but I'm just showing how to use the when operator, or this when control flow. If it is a 2, if it is a 3, if it is a 4, then you have selected respective numbers. Fine. So in this way we are defining the switch case. So this is the switch case here. Let's check whether is it any error or not. Yeah, it is successfully compiled, and it is asking me to enter the value. Now if I enter the 2, you selected the choice 2. It is telling the some other one. Fine. Suppose once again if I compile this program, Or if I enter some other choice like 7, it will not display anything. So for that you can write here the else part. Not else. We have some other thing. I'll tell you, just wait. We have we'll just give me a second. We don't have the example here, I think. Okay, functions, classes. Anyhow, I have the handouts, which I'm going to share with you also. We have a set of programs here. I think here we have that. Yeah, we use the else here. Else will be used like this. Fine. Just got confused here. Else, so like this, no braces. Sorry to say, there is no braces, and simply you will print the message here. Wrong choice. Okay. Incorrect choice selected. Now just do 1 second, execute this program. Now if I select 7, sorry, print ln, open the bracket. Now once again I am compiling this program. So this time again I will print. Now incorrect choice selected. So here the else part is going to be act independently with this when. So here switch case में जो आपके पास default होता है ना, here the else part is acting like that. Okay, the default here. If you have selected the wrong choice, then it is going to print this message. So this is how the when control flow is going to be work. Fine. I hope you got an idea. In the same way, do while. We will see the example here. I have a separate file that. So in different way we can do it. In different way we can do it. Fine. Like you can check the special characters here. You can check the special character. When operator का special character भी check कर सकते हो. You can check plus. You can check minus, subtraction. If user has entered the plus, then you please perform the arithmetical operation. If user entered minus, then you perform the subtraction operation. If user enters multiplication, you perform the product of that. Fine. You can also declare the when operator with the help of this. Finally, whatever the result is come, वो result को आप बाहर भी display करा सकते हो इस तरीके से. Fine. So I kept into a local variable, that is result, and whatever the result is coming, I am storing into the result. I am printing the result. Fine. So both way you can do that. So I hope you have understand. Even you can also give the range. Suppose if you have entered any number between 1 to 3, then you can say that n is a positive integer less than 4. If a user has entered 0, then print this. If a user has entered, that means you can also give the range from some number to some other number by following the commas in between. Fine. This is also one type of giving or using the when as a control flow. In the same way, you can also check the range. You can also check the range. अगर मैं यहाँ पर 2 एंटर कर रहा हूँ, ओके, वो डिटेक्ट करेगा. अगर यहाँ पर मैं 22 एंटर कर रहा हूँ, वो यहाँ पर डिटेक्ट करेगा. So for that, here we introduce a new keyword called in. So when a is in 1 to 10. Okay. In the same way, when A is in 10 to 100. So what is the difference between this and this? So this is checking the range, and this is checking the exactly the numbers. Multiple numbers भी आप check कर सकते हो. Like in a single line, if anybody entering 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5, so print this message. If anybody entering 0, then print this message. If anybody entering -1, -2, then print this message. Okay. In the same way, if you want to check the range, you can check it. How to check? With the help of in. So just write here in this syntactically 1 dot dot 10. So whatever the user has entered the value between 1 to 10, this message is going to be printed. Whatever the value is entered between the 10 to 100, this message is going to be printed. Fine. So these are the different way to use the when control flow. The same way for loop, here the for loop is again different when compared to the Java. For loop is again different, whereas while and do while is same as Java. How you have done in Java and C++, same as in Kotlin also. But for loop is different. You have to give some connections. You have to give some range, like I am giving here. Okay, like for I in 1 to 5, print I. Print I. That means I is starting from 5 or 1 and it is going to end to 5. So it is printing completely 5 numbers. Completely 5 numbers. So it is printing 1 to 5 sequentially. Okay, it is printing 1 to 5. So if you check the more examples like this, you can check here. For I in 1 to 5, it is printing 5. Generally, how we will write in Java here? We will write Java like this. For int I is equal to 1, semicolon, I less than, up to 5 means less than or equal to 5. I plus plus. And simply you will print the I value. You will print the I value. But whereas in a single line, we are going to achieve that one. We are going to achieve this concept. Okay. So no need to initialize, no need to declare. With the help of this in keyword, we are assuming that this is, this is the for loop which will have the value from 1 to 5, and you have to print that value. Okay, you have to print that value. I copy this program. Okay, no need to copy because we have already output here. This is the executable output. So if I given for I in like this, it is printing 1 to 5. Okay. If I am giving in reverse order, nothing is printing because this always start from initial value. Okay. So if I am printing 5 down to 1, then it is printing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. If you want to print into the reverse order, you are not supposed to write. You are not supposed to write this way. Neither you have to write in this fashion. Okay. In this pattern, you have to write down to. Is also one type of keyword. So for in I. For I in 1 to 5, step 2. What it means step 2? In every step 2, it will ignore. Every step 2, it will ignore. That means it will print 1, then it will ignore 2. It will print 3, it will ignore 4. It will print 5. So like this, it is printing 1, 3, 5. It is ignoring every second element. I want to ignore every second element from the downwards or from the descending order. That means 5 is printing, 4 is ignoring, 3 is printing, and 2 is ignoring. So both way you can do it. So these are the different way to use the for loop here. So please remember, this is how we will use the for loop in Kotlin. If you do practice, then only you will get the idea on it. So we will do a simple program, Java application program. Then we will stop the session. For that, I will modify this application only. I have a function called withdraw function. So this is a simple program where I have used the different functions and classes, and there is a class called, here it is, bank operation. So better I will create one. Create. Oh, sorry, no project here. Right click source file, new Kotlin file in class. Create the file here. Give the same name that here it is having. That So my bank. Okay, I'm giving my bank. So this is my new program. So I will copy this main function from here to here. Control C. This is the same program that you have done already in your Java. Already you have done in Java. Okay. So I will create one more class here. So bank operations, the class name is bank operations. So it is a class. So how to create the class in Kotlin? Like this. So I will copy whatever the program here it is. I'm copying because we have very less time, so that's why I'm copying. Otherwise, we can type this program step by step by understanding each and every step, the flow of the program. So I have copied this program here. Import the package, import java.util.scan. You need to assign some values here. Initialization. What's going on here? It is so just convert this because I have copied. It is not copied perfectly. Any other program? This program will copy. So again, I'm copying. This time it is copied successfully. But still, it is showing some errors. It is showing some errors. Scanner. System dot. Now it is clean. Let's check my bank. In my bank also, once again, I will replace the entire program with this program, with this code. So this is my bank. So again, paste it. Let's check still it is having any error. Not, then we will continue. So execute this program. Now this is the banking program, a simple banking program you might have already done in your C++ Java. So why I have shown this program here, because you can convert all your Java skills and C++ skill in Kotlin. Okay. So welcome to the banking application, balance check, deposit amount, withdraw money, and exit. So whatever the option I'm selecting here, suppose if I select the one option, it will print the current balance and it will do it. Okay. So it will perform all the operation, and if I click on 4, it will get out of the loop. Okay. So let's see the program, and we will stop this today's session. So I will start, from the class here. What I have done in the class, I have created the main class called bank operation. Okay, bank operation. And why I have created this line? Because to read the values at runtime, यूजर से मैं वैल्यूज को रीड करना चाह रहा हूँ, इसीलिए मैंने ये यहाँ पर लिया. ओके, फॉर स्टोरिंग द बैलेंस आई हैव क्रिएटेड द बी, फॉर डिपॉजिट पर्पस आई हैव क्रिएटेड द डी, फॉर विड्रॉ पर्पस आई हैव क्रिएटेड द डब्ल्यू. ओके, so for balance I have created a different function here, that is the balance. Your account balance is whatever it may be. If you want to print, you can print it, and thank you. For deposit I have again created a separate function which is placed into this bank operations class. Okay, so here I am performing a set of operations, again a set of expressions to update my task. So simply for deposit, after depositing you have to update your balance. Now again for withdraw purpose I am created a separate function called withdraw. Now you can see here I am using the if condition, else condition, how you have used in your Java and C++. The same way, but some difference are there, you have to use it. If you do practice, you can you can get it easily. So in the same way, in Java also we will write system.exit to exit from come out from the loop. Here also we are using the same thing. To stop the program, we will use the exit. Fine. So how many functions? Function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4. So there are 4 functions which are present in bank operation. Now I want to use these functions in my bank. So I want to use these functions in main class, that is my bank. So my bank is my main class. आप कहेंगे कि सर मेन क्लास ये कहाँ से बन गई? मेन क्लास मैं आपको ऑलरेडी बताया था प्रोडक्शन में, यहाँ पर देख सकते हो. दिस इज माय मेन क्लास, माय बैंक kt.class. So this is indirectly a class which is created by the compiler. Now here I have created a local variable to read the choices from the user. I have created the object here. This is how we are creating the object. Object of which class? Bank operation class. So here this bank operation is there. Why I have created the object of bank operation class? To access the properties of the particular class. So I have applied the do while loop that we have already applied in your earlier concept, that is C++ and Java. But here I have applied the when, that is the switch case. That is the switch case. अगर आप यहाँ पर चाहे तो else part भी लिख सकते हो, else. ठीक है, println incorrect choice. So अब इस तरीके से देख. So it is a switch case here. So this will be, if you do more practice on control flows, you can get this one. So simply I am using and I am calling. If I entered 1, then I am calling this particular function. If I enter 2, then I am calling this particular function. If I enter 3, then I am calling this particular function. This is how we are achieving a very simple program, a very basic program with the help of classes, functions, and some kind of iterations in Kotlin. Okay. So I hope you have got an idea what is Kotlin, the basics of Kotlin. With this, we have already seen all these things. We have seen example banking operation. Okay. I will stop. These are the references that I have referred. The kotlinlang.org is the official website where it is providing the learning material also. You can go and check the learning materials from there also. Okay. So if you have any query, you can ask me, please. Any doubt? Finally, I would like to say thanks to
Thank you, sir.
the head of the department, BSc Computer Science and Engineering, the convener of all this webinar, the organizing committee members, and finally, I would like to say thanks to the entire management to give this kind of opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this useful webinar. Now I request Sayyida Shahana Unisa, Assistant Professor, BSc CSE Department, to give a vote of thanks.
No. Thank you, Asmat ma'am. I, Sayyida Shahana, Assistant Professor, on behalf of Anwarul College, Computer Science and Engineering Department, for organizing a online Kotlin workshop on. First of all, my sincere thanks to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for making today's event a resounding success. I would like to express our sincere thanks to Mr. Mohatesham Pasha Quadri, Assistant Professor, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad, for giving an excellent workshop on programming language Kotlin, an alternative standard compiler programming. We got an awareness for a new programming language, which is an open source software with an easy coding and user friendly tool that can be used on any IDLE. Thank you for the workshop and hand on experience for delivering a wonderful success. I also extend my thanks to Mr. Ahmed Beg Sir, Director, Anwarul College Group of Institution, and Mr. Israr Ahmed, Head of the Department, Computer Science Department, and entire team of Computer Science Department, and the participants for their enormous cooperation in the organization of this event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you everyone for joining for the webinar. Thank you very much, sir. Now we can conclude the section of the webinar.